Welcome, everyone, and thanks so much for joining this presentation here at NCEA. I'm Terry Nolan, and I'm with Abriana Chalele, and we will be sharing some incredible results that happened with the Denver Archdiocese. So as we jump in today, I'd like to introduce both myself and Abriana. I'm Terry Nolan, and I am Vice President of Educator Initiatives at Learning Ally. I'll be telling you more about Learning Ally here in a bit. And my work here is simply to help educators become literacy leaders. So literacy is a first love for myself, and I'll be happy to share some of these results that we've seen at the Denver Archdiocese. And I've got Abriana with me. Abriana, welcome.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here, and it's great to talk a bit about some of the success we've seen with Learning Ally in our schools. So my name is Abriana Chalele, and I work in the Office of Catholic Schools here in the Archdiocese of Denver as the Associate Superintendent for Academic Renewal. And so our renewal efforts are critically important for all of our students, and Learning Ally has really helped us to accomplish some great work so far. So I'm excited for you to learn about what we've been doing, and hopefully it's a gift for your work in your own diocese and Archdiocese.
Thanks so much, Abriana. And as we get moving here, we're just going to go over what our objectives are. We hope that you'll understand what has happened with the Archdiocese of Denver being able to double the rate of reading growth. That's the big headline here. Understanding that there is a partnership that was formed, a true partnership. And we're going to give you insight into what that looks like, what that means. And then finally, and Abriana said it, she hopes that this is a gift for others out there, because it is an absolute gift to be able to empower, enlighten, and just breathe life into a student's reading ability. So this partnership, let's talk about this partnership here. There were three legs of this stool here. We had the Archdiocese, we had the Zarlingo Foundation, and we had Learning Ally. And these three partners came together, and you're going to be hearing about each of these different partners. So Abriana, talk to me a little bit about the importance and the impact of having a partnership.
Yeah, thanks, Terry. It was critical. And so the Zarlingo Foundation is a local foundation who does incredible work supporting our Catholic schools. And, they've generously provided Learning Ally free to our schools for more than 5 years now, which is an incredible gift. Not only in what the gift is, but that year over year, they're able to provide this gift for our students. Learning Ally makes our schools more accessible to all families, and yet we all know that in education, to be inclusive is a cost, and it could take financial backing, and it does take financial backing. And so this gift, Learning Ally to our students did require this gift of a donor, and we couldn't be more grateful to the Zarlingo Foundation that they were able and willing to serve Catholic education with this gift. So we could never say thank you enough, and we're really grateful to the Zarlingo Foundation for believing in our students and our school's ability to serve them well.
That is so true. And it was a true partnership, bringing the stakeholders to the table, the administration level there at the Archdiocese, the executive director of the Zarlingo Foundation, Katie, and then those at Learning Ally. Now you're going to hear from Katie Zarlingo, and you're going to hear the power and the impact that she cares about and why this is important to her.
In 2014, we met with Learning Ally, and we knew instantly we wanted to partner with them. We wanted to bring their entire program, the audiobooks, the peer-to-peer mentoring, the teacher training, to a whole school district in Colorado. And so we reached out to the Archdiocese of Denver, knowing that some of their schools have limited resources, and we wanted our dollars and the dollars of our donors to make a large impact. And so we were able to start a pilot program with just a few schools. And then the following year, we were able to open it up to every school in the Archdiocese, the grade schools and the high schools. The teachers have been fantastic about embracing the program and really implementing it, incorporating it into their classroom instruction, helping kids get books on their bookshelves and read at home over the summer. And it's just been a really great program. It really opened up the world of reading to struggling readers in the Archdiocese of Denver.
All right. Thanks so much, Katie. Thanks so much for sharing those words. Now, let's talk about the Archdiocese. Let's talk about where they were, their demographics, what they believed in, what they were trying to accomplish. Abriana, you're the one that needs to speak to that.
Thanks, Terry. Happy to. Always happy to share about our schools and the good work that we're called to in the Archdiocese of Denver, but that all of you listening are also called to and invited to. So grateful to be here, albeit virtually, with all of you and to share in this great work. So in the Archdiocese of Denver, we have an Office of Catholic Schools, and our Office of Catholic Schools serves 33 elementary schools and 2 archdiocesan high schools. And those schools then serve 8,000 students through the dedicated work of about 700 teachers. Our schools in Denver, like all of our Catholic schools, exist to be sanctuaries of education for young men and women, supporting parents and empowering parents and forming their children in wisdom and in virtue as faithful disciples of Jesus Christ. People who are fully alive and who serve the common good. And so to accomplish this great work that each of us, you and me, are called to, we take quite seriously that which we teach and that which we study. And we know that what we teach points students to truth and to beauty and to goodness and to God himself. So why is literature and access to literature so important to our schools, and why was Learning Ally so critical in helping all of our students access literature? Well, we'd say literature is actually of peak critical importance as far as the content that we teach. Well, why? I heard a great speaker recently when speaking on the power of literature to form a Catholic worldview in students. The speaker said, the 10 commandments give us the morality of what to do, but literature helps us understand the humanity of how to live out that morality. It was beautiful. Learning Ally provided to students not only access to the literature, but a deep opportunity to really access literature deeply alongside all of their peers, regardless of the learning differences that those students experience. And that deepening of student reading really cannot be understated in its importance. And I'm so grateful for the critical role the Zarlengo Foundation and Learning Ally has played in advancing the mission of our schools. Literature invites students to consider the beauty of the written word, to delight and wonder in story, to develop moral imaginations through studies of characters and their choices. We know that Jesus himself taught through story. And when we invite students into consideration of story, we form their minds to be ever more ready to see and know the story of humanity more clearly, a story of people loved by a Father, rescued from the sin of ourselves and the world, to be people of joy and hope and happiness. And we know that the choices characters make can teach our students so much how to live and sometimes how not to live. And to be able to explore that in literature gives students such an opportunity to explore what it is to be a good person, what it is to be a thinking person, and what it is to be a member of the human family. And so literature is so critically important to the mission of our schools. And Learning Ally has been such a gift to make sure that all students can access literature in our school. So I'd love to invite Terry to share more about how Learning Ally works. It's really such a neat product and such a neat tool. And I'd love to invite Terry to share why it's such an important tool as well for students with all kinds of needs in our schools.
Thanks, Abriana. I'm going to tell you what, that was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, because literature it's a vessel. It's what allows the imagination to grasp onto this sense of humanity. And I love what you said about what to do and what not to do. Did you know that there are fMRI studies that show that when a student is immersed in stories, there are brain changes that happen, that they take on the role and the actions of the protagonist in those stories. So not only are we inviting students into a world of literature, we are inviting them in to make brain changes. And that to me is powerful. So that's what Learning Ally does for students that struggle with reading. They're not able to access the content at grade level. That's what the power of an audiobook does. And I want to start with helping you understand who Learning Ally is. We're a national nonprofit organization. We've been around for over 75 years. We are out to smash the literacy divide that is happening in our country. And we know that 65% of our students are not meeting those levels of proficiency in reading. And that's not acceptable. That's not okay. So our pedagogy, what we build our solutions around, is around what needs to happen in order for a student to become a competent reader. We use the reading rope as a good baseline and a standard and a framework for what a student needs to execute on the higher and lower level processes of reading, all forming together to make a competent reader. I am a academic language practitioner, which means I love to teach kids how to decode. But guess what? Some students that struggle with decoding, they've got to go back to the classroom. You got to do both. I got to give them good explicit instruction, but then they've got to go back to the classroom and they might not be able to keep up. That's where an audiobook comes into play. Now, when we look at our students, we look at our students as being the ones that just pick up reading like that. And that's honestly not the majority of our students. Many of our students might fall into other categories that are out there. Dyslexic, hyperlexic. You know those kids, they can read every word on the page, but they get to the end and they're like, I don't know what I just read. So they've got those weaknesses in language comprehension. And then we've got these mixed ability students. And at the Archdiocese, as Abriana said, we care about every single student. We care about everyone, and we need to equip our educators to be able to address everyone's needs. All right. So this is where the audiobook comes into play. And I'll be sharing with you the audiobook app. The audiobook app is where students go to access their library of books. Okay, so this is Brooklyn. Brooklyn is a middle school student. This is Brooklyn's bookshelf. Brooklyn can't read at an 8th grade level. She decodes at a 3rd grade level, but I want you to notice what's on her bookshelf. She's got 8th grade level content. She's got her algebra book. She's got a book called Esperanza Rising because Brooklyn wants to connect to her heritage. Fish in a Tree, that's because she feels like she's the only one that struggles. And she came across this book. And now she knows she's not the only one. Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, The Call of the Wild. These are anchor books within the ELA curriculum for Brooklyn. And now Brooklyn can get access. But notice I've got a book on here, Come Back Amelia Bedelia. Because you know what? I still need to work on explicit leveled instruction with Brooklyn. Because I'm still trying to make her a competent word decoder, but she's got to go back to the classroom. Let's dive in here to a book. And what I want you to hear and notice is that with the Learning Ally audiobook solution, you get the voice. You get the voice. There is nothing more powerful than the human voice. The human voice carries meaning. The human voice carries tone, inflection.